Well, hello everyone. Welcome to your Latinas for Life podcast, Feminine Truth. And we're here today having an honest Latina conversation. I don't know about you guys, but most of us have a tío, a cousin, a neighbor, some relative that has multiple children with different women. It's something our culture grows up with, right? We all know someone in our culture. And in a certain way, we have actually normalized that, but I strongly, my personal belief, and not to blame our Latino culture. I'm not saying there's more promiscuity in our Latino culture than in other cultures, pero we do see it a lot in the Hispanic culture, right? And it's something that's seen a lot in the Black culture. So, that's part of the topic we want to address today. Like, and I chose the name of the podcast of those abortion stars at the center, and just because when we address abortion, we would like to address the issues that bring women to have abortions, right? Contrary to what people say online, it's not like, oh, I just feel like having an abortion. I don't know about you guys, but I never saw that in a woman. No woman was like, oh, I just feel like having an abortion today. Like, that's not true. I mean, but anyway, so we're sad. And you guys want to say anything, Sonia, Frane?
Friend is muted.
My
Yeah.
sorry. Abortion does start before the women, the girls, las muchachas llegan de la clínica del aborto, ¿verdad? They, I think that was a great question. Um, Myra mentioned earlier that, yeah, when does it begin? Does it begin when they're making that appointment, when they go into the clinic? And I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but I think it begins a long time before.
Yeah.
I would think years. I mean, that's how it started with me. And because we were, we kind of became immune. Sorry, that's my baby.
Oh, we love
um,
baby. All the baby.
and so um, we became slowly immersed like that. Como ese dicho de la rana, cuando está en una agua tibia y poco a poco se calienta y no se da cuenta que al último se está completamente hirviendo y se muere. Así también, yo pienso que nuestra cultura, we get so immersed into the culture, the American culture that we're in, that we don't realize that we adapt things or start believing things, um, or just disregard things that our family normally embraces, and we become immune to it, like embracing life, embracing big families. Um, uh, and yeah, so those things I think definitely begins way before the girl or the couple arrive before getting to the abortion clinic.
What do you think, Sonia? Do you have any close relatives that anyone that it's like, oh, they had another baby mama, they already had kids with someone?
I do, but then they might watch this, so I don't want to expose them.
No, no, don't tell us
I'm
their
just
name,
kidding.
please, by all means. No.
um, I mean, I can, of course, I have quite a few. Um, but from what I would see, like in the abortion clinic, the girls that would come, um, it had to do with like, oh, my boyfriend doesn't have a dad, or they weren't it was never really a stable family that they had, that they would somebody that would rely on. And I think that's a lot of the times that's why they would come in as well, because they don't have that father to back them up. They don't have that father to give them that advice. Hey, take responsibility for what you have done. And I feel a lot of the times that's why they go in, because they don't have that father figure, that example of what a father should be like. um and like Franny was saying, it's been normalized. And I mean, I guess everybody's just okay with it nowadays, which I don't see how that would be. I mean, they okay, but I know the woman or the man suffers at home because you have a one, two babies here, two babies there. Um, and I think that's what's going on nowadays. It's really confusing, and I really wish that Dad would step up more to take advantage of what life is really like. Mhm.
Well,
And
my
to kind
husband,
of
very, sorry, Franny.
go ahead.
No, my husband's from a very small town in Mexico. Very, very small town. Okay. And this small town, I want you to know that his dad had children all over the town. All over the town. Like, if he says that if it's 5 or 6 or 7 women, it's little, because all over the town, to the point that when they were gonna baptize him, they couldn't give him his name of the father, because the priest like, no, he's married and has his family, so he cannot be named after his father, because it's a very small town in Mexico. So of course,
Yeah.
abortion there, even though it was illegal all this year, there was una mujer hierbera que da medicina hierbal, ¿no? Que hace todos estos, no sé cómo llamarle, tratamientos con hierba, que era la abortista del pueblo. Y lo que hacía era ayudarle a abortar to the women that were having the babies from this guy or other guys. So I have seen a lot of that. I mean, a lot through my years. I don't know, what were you saying, Franny? Sorry if I interrupt.
No, something Sonia reminded me of is like in our culture is also the boys are raised differently because mi hijo puede hacer lo que él quiera, es
El dicho,
hombre.
ahí les va mi gallito, agarren sus gallinas.
Ándale, déjenlo porque lo voy a dejar suelto,
Yeah.
So that's a big, it irks me, to be honest, because I grew up with two brothers and they were allowed to do all these things that I wasn't allowed to. So it really irks me that we have that in our culture. A lot of people or women.
Oh, I have all boys. I don't have to worry about it. You have heard comments like,
perfect. That's the one. And I'm like, no, the standards should be the same. If the standards were the same for boys and girls, we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Just like people say, if abortion was for men, we hardly had abortions, because I don't think they will go through it, to be honest. Men would not go through an abortion.
Or the same thing as with the birth control. If it was was available for men, they wouldn't put up with it. They wouldn't take it.
This lady was doing a podcast on me the other day. She invited me. She's from Ecuador, and she said this. Check this out, and you guys are gonna agree with her. She says, "Can you imagine if you tell a guy, take this pill every day. This pill will make you feel weird. You're gonna have changes. You're gonna have mood swings. Your hormones are gonna change. You may not even feel sexually attractive. You may not even feel having pleasure. You may not even get an erection from taking a pill every day. Do you think a guy would do it?" And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. No, he wouldn't. But then women line up to take up birth control pills, even though all those things could happen, and they are on the paper. You may have all these issues. You even may get cancer from them, and they still go and get that. But you're right, Fran. And she said that, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's true. Right?
Yeah, and I think there's even I can't on this information. I have to research it more. But I think there was or is a birth control method for men, a hormonal one, but because of the side effects, it wasn't very, optimal or successful. Like they weren't going to be able to sell it to men. So that's why they opt out in stopping that, or they didn't even pursue it or something along those lines. And that's why they invented a birth control for women instead. And because of
I think what I heard was that men would have erection issues. But I don't know, Sonia, do you ever encounter that at work? Tell us any experiences of promiscuity. Like I know I have like so many stories, but I work in the preventive side, so I did a lot of STD screening, and forget it. Like everyone that came to my center for STD screening was because they were cheating. I'm not kidding you. Like almost every person that came to my center for STD screening was because they were cheating,
Yeah,
and
and
they used
nobody that I remember. I mean, it's
Mhm.
been so long, but my memory is fresh on a lot of the procedures, and I cannot say we had one loving married couple that came just to get an abortion because they didn't want a baby. It was always with their pimp, with their, which, nowadays they don't call them pimps, with out of sex trafficker. They
That's
could, what you call it
extra.
now. It's an old word.
Women may call
Um,
him my manager,
yeah,
but it is
manager. Or teenage girls or girls that were in the dance industry. Um, so those are the kind of people that we had come in, or girls that were just out one night stand or whatever. Um, that's the kind of women that we had come in because they simply had a one night stand or those other weird situations that had nothing to do with her husband. It had to do with somebody else. Mhm.
Yeah, how about you, Franny? Do you recall any experiences that you want to
Um,
share?
a lot of them were mainly um, I'm not ready type of attitude, or we already have this many kids at home, or I just had uh, a baby 8 months ago, um, things of that nature. Some of them I wouldn't even ask, to be honest. I mean, we weren't supposed to ask, but it wasn't really disclosed. But yeah, I mean, we did have the times where, like, oh yes, it's not my husband is not the father, or I didn't know he was married, type
Mhm.
of situations, which I think even I think you feel even more betrayed finding out you're pregnant and that the person that impregnated you is married. Um, so then, what other? Or yeah, I'm going to school. I have hopes and dreams that I want to accomplish. Those kinds of scenarios and examples that I remember
Hmm.
people
And
Well,
you
I
saying.
did.
knew. Sorry, go ahead.
I do remember one case, and it was this guy. You guys are not gonna believe this, but this guy that had just come with his wife for STD screening because they were swingers. So there was like a swing club really nearby the center that I was directing in North Phoenix. And we used to get the people who were part of the club to come in and do their STDs. And they will come almost in groups.
Wow.
Like they will come, I don't remember how many were part of that club, but I can tell you there was a day that they will all go back to back, and it was weird because eventually the staff was like, "Oh, it's the swingers, right? It's the swingers club coming in," because we will
Mhm.
get like back to back STD screening for like 4 hours. And it was weird. Like usually we don't get that, right? But then eventually we knew that every certain amount of days they all will come to screen for STDs because it was time for their meetup for swingers. So I recall this time that this guy came in with his wife because they were swingers. So this is already a woman allowing or wanted on even participating on being promiscuous, right? Because you're talking about that they both decided to be part of the swinger club, and that's what they're getting tested. So they're already open to their open relationship, which I'm never gonna understand that. But anyways, so he already had permission to sleep with other women, but the deal apparently is just in that moment, right? At the swinging meetup, kind of whatever they call that moment, right? Where they're doing that. And this guy came in with his wife to do the STD testing. He had been coming for a while, my location. And then for some crazy reason, don't ask me why. Well, you can ask me why. But then I had to travel to another location. Remember, I told you for a period of time, I train almost everyone. So when they were short staffed in our center, or new manager or something, I used to go and train them too, right? So Like, oh, you're the one with more experience, you go train the new manager there, right? So I remember I went to the Tempe location. They didn't have quite a center manager, and they were reopening the center. And then I was sitting there training the front staff. And then when the guy walks in with a totally different woman, now keep in mind, I've been seeing this guy for a few months for SD screen and my North Phoenix one.
With the other
And
one.
it's about 30 minutes. And then here he is with this woman that I've never seen in my center before. And they're walking into the Tempe facility for an abortion. Like, she's coming for her ultrasound to come back for the abortion, right? Because Arizona had a 24-hour waiting period. So, and I was like, what? Like, wait, what? Is it the same guy? But yeah, obviously I check, I know. And yeah, he was in the system when he signed off that he will be the person responsible for her, right? He recognized me. He knew I was the center director. I was a worker from the other center. And he immediately asked to speak to me in private. I never thought he was going to do this. I thought he was just going to play it cool, like, I don't know, you lady, you're confusing me, something like that, right? But he didn't. He said, can I talk to you? And I was like, I know what he wanted to talk to me, right? And he's like, well, well. And then he tried to give me his version of excuses. I said, hey, I'm not your wife. That's between you and your wife. I mean, unfortunately, do I wish I can call her and tell her? Yes, the woman in me wants to, but my job won't allow me, but he did. And I can understand how. Your wife's letting you cheat on her, not cheat on her because she's there. She's
You already
allowed.
have a pass. He took an extra pass.
Exactly, right? And now he's bringing this girl to have an abortion because he's like, well, I can't tell her because she's already okay with me sleeping with other women when she's around, but that's not the same. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then this other young girl, which by the way, she was a lot younger than him, not younger, but I'm telling you that this guy was almost on his 40s, if I recall correctly, and the girl was like late 20s, right? So about 10 years younger. Really pretty. I remember she was a really pretty girl. And she was like, she knew he was married. He knew he was married. And she was like, well, he's married. And Franny, just like you said, we didn't ask them. They like to disclose things on their own. It's like they feel bored. They feel like they have to give you an excuse why they're there. That's what I'm saying. I have never encountered a woman says, "Oh, I just feel like having an abortion." Even without asking them, a lot of the women will tell you why, because I think they felt they have to excuse the reason for being there. But I mean, and I can tell you stories like that. I don't know if you guys remember stories like that of just because of cheating, a promiscuity, or because whatever. But that I remember that one so vividly because it was someone that I saw frequently at my other center.
Yeah.
So, we kind of like, when you go to the doctor, I'm sure Franny knows when she goes to the doctor a lot, they already know her, right? Her OBGYN is like, hi, Franny. She knows the whole staff there because she's going every month, right?
Yeah.
So then you feel like connected to the staff in that center, especially because it's a place where they're disclosing that they're part of a swing club. So now because they gave all their explanation when a bunch of them came at the same time. And we were like, hey, what's going on? And then I remember they all signed the record release to share with each other. So the main person of the swing club, okay, which I know this is out of our topic. We probably have to do a whole other podcast on swinging and whatever they call that. Because guys, if I can tell you the stories I heard in my 17 years of the STD center, I have seen it all, man. I have seen it all. Like the most disgusting thing that you can think of a human doing in private time, I've seen it all. And we have removed it all. Remove it all too. I don't know if you guys did any removals at your centers, but man, the stuff we removed out of people, buttholes and vaginas was disgusting. But anyways, different.
That's a whole other segment right there.
But I remember they all signed the record release for one person at the swing club that was in charge of collecting all the lab results. So then when they come in, I guess when they come in for their meetup, they have to have a checklist that they had done their STD testing. I mean, they were being responsible, I guess, on
La
STD.
responsabilidad que tenían.
Yes, right? Yes. But I mean, it's like, I mean, condom's not gonna help you from herpes, but okay, and herpes,
That's insane.
that was insane. And I remember him, and I remember the girl just being like, yeah, he's married, and I don't want that kind of drama, that kind of drama, and that's the reason for her to have the abortion. And he didn't even have kids with his wife. I remember that they were without kids. For what reason? I don't know. I never asked them. But they didn't even have children. So this guy didn't have children. I know how many more women he took to have abortions. He probably didn't go to Planned Parenthood the next one, to be honest, because he's like, probably she's gonna be there. She's gonna
You
see
can
me.
get all the locations.
Yeah, yeah. What about you guys? You guys recall any of those kind of stories? You're like, wow.
My phone. Can you hear me?
Mm-mm.
It was staticky. Oh, sorry. The fact that when they would come in, they would always ask, well, the ones that had some were up to something, which was mostly out of them. Is it
Got enough a lot.
like that?
Can you hear her well, Franny?
Can you hear me?
It's
No,
staticky.
it's staticky. Yeah. Is it your phone or your computer?
Maybe. No, I'm on the phone. Can you hear me now?
No, it's still staticky. It's the signal. It's playing trick. Okay, Franny, go while Sonia's fixing her sound.
Yeah, it's sounding funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember any scenarios where we had swingers or anything like that. I know we did have
There's-
prostitutes coming in. Where the clinic is at, not too far away. I don't know if you heard or people have heard of the Figueroa corridor in South Los Angeles, because there's a lot of prostitution. That's what it's known for right now. And so we would have women that came in and did that kind of work. I mean, it was just, I don't want to say obvious. It was only obvious when we did the interviews and asked them how many partners they had. I mean, they would give us large numbers. But there's also, I think one of the stories that has impacted me the most, and I remember, I think the most, is the one of a 14-year-old girl. She was Latina. She looked so young, and she was there for her abortion at 14. And I thought, like, oh, well, she didn't know about birth control. Her parents didn't talk to her. She didn't have any education on sexual health. And I was just like trying to do everything in my ability to try to empower her and educate her and have her leave with some kind of birth control. And it didn't work. Nothing. No matter how I painted it, I said it, pros and cons of everything, and it's just like, no, she left with nothing. And I was just like very confused, very, very confused. In retrospect, my mind now thinks, it's like, why didn't I ask her if this is against her will? Like, that didn't even come up, it didn't cross my mind at the time. But then again, it was because they didn't want us asking their partner's age as well. So then that ended up happening. And then
You couldn't ask them their age?
Oh, we thought you were gone. We cannot see you.
No,
Yeah.
it stopped. Can you see me? Sorry.
We can hear you, but we cannot see you. I think that it is your signal. No, like, I don't know, Sonia, but I think what Franny is saying is that they don't like, the more you can avoid from asking their age of their partners, so you can avoid knowing if there's statutory rape, it has to be reported, right,
Mhm.
Franny? Is that what you were saying? Avoid asking.
Yes, they didn't want us asking the ages because of that, because it was gonna open a whole can of
Well, why
worms doing
don't work?
that and decrease workflow and bring
Mhm.
authorities in and all these issues. So, but with that same patient, she ended up coming back in 6 months after her abortion, and it wasn't for birth control. I wish it would have been. No, she came for a second abortion.
The first one
Um,
is I think the first one is the hardest one, no, Franny? After the first one, it's
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. And then, I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, like you were literally here just 6 months ago. I asked you, I educated you, I talked to you, and you didn't want to take birth control. And the second time she ended up leaving with some form of birth control, and I stopped seeing her since. But it haunts me because, like, I don't know if she was being trafficked, she was being molested. I don't know who was bringing her in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so there's to think that there's this movement of feminist women that say, to end with the patriarchy. And it's like the patriarchy is the one that's bringing us to the abortion clinics.
Yeah,
How do
exactly.
you guys not know? She was
Yeah.
being coerced, forced, abused to come in there. And Planned Parenthood was there to cover it up.
Yep.
Um, and that's mind blowing how they can't make that connection yet. Um,
Can they really not make it? Like, have you seen them asking for legal prostitution? Is that for women too? Do you want to legalize prostitution for women? Like, I don't know. I think sometimes they pretend they don't know that it's to serve men.
yeah, to serve their needs and wants and desires. But yet, women still turn it around and see it as empowerment. I'm like, I don't see how that's empowerment.
Oh, yeah. Sonia, are
Yeah.
you back?
Can you see me now?
No. Can
I
you
No.
can
see
see
me, Brandon?
myself on here. I thought you could see me because you could see myself. I don't know. It was
Mm.
just static and really bad.
Yeah, it's a signal. Were you in the Wi-Fi or the on
No,
the?
I was on the Wi-Fi. It might have been my Wi-Fi. I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sometimes it happens on Wi-Fi. I don't know why. Streaming.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. Se me olvidó lo que iba a decir.
Oh, I'm
Este,
sorry.
I know it just started staticking pretty bad. Um. Yeah. I was gonna say something else about like September, October was our busiest time because that's when the girls would be home for the summer.
Oh,
Um,
yes, yes.
trips and stuff like that. That was our busiest time. And it made me so sad because I mean, where were your parents? Where are you, and I don't know how if it's still like that because of course here in Texas you can't do that anymore. But
Mostly, mostly.
maybe now we're more educated into how to protect yourself, but those were our busiest times. September, October, November, these young girls would just go out and have a good time thinking they were having a good time and there was going to be no consequences for that. And a lot of the times they would come, with their boyfriend or with, not their boyfriend or um, the mom or the dad didn't know, but the mom did, things like that. And the fact that the mom would approve of hiding this from the dad because they would ask, that's another thing I was going to say, they would make sure, they would ask so many times, is this confidential, is this confidential? So I already knew that, if you want to do this so bad, why do you worry so much, that it's confidential? But of course it was, but they would ask so many times and you knew that they were hiding something or from someone that they
Yeah.
were so worried about. on who was going to find out.
Yeah. So no, yeah, it's kind of awful. How the parents, but right now, Sonia, unfortunately, I don't think they're better educated. Unfortunately now, because in Texas a lot of people are buying pills online. They're just
Yeah.
doing them at home. Now the abortion centers in Texas are just private bedrooms and bathrooms, and people are having pills in stock, unfortunately. But so, is there any hope for our culture that they won't have a lot of moms, a lot of baby daddies, baby mamas, and stuff like that? Like Franny said something at the beginning, which is right. It's those comments that, and I just heard it. I don't remember where it was that someone said that because they have old boys, they don't have nothing to worry about. I remember I just heard that, and I actually jump in. I'm like, yeah, you do have something to worry about. What if they get her pregnant? Are
And
you teaching?
that's another thing. Like, I have a boy, I have a son. My son's 27, Amber's 17. Um, and when he was in high school and he had a girlfriend, I was like, man, I was worried. I don't know if I was the only one, like, I don't, I cannot agree with the comment that, the other people have said that, I don't have nothing to worry about. Yeah, even more worried about, because that's a big responsibility that you would have to take upon as a man, and as the mother of that one child. you
Mhm,
know
mhm.
um so yeah, it's I don't see
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
people can
and and
say
just the
that.
fact that I know because I experienced it, when you become a teen dad, it's not like as stigmatized or shamed versus if you're a teen mom.
Mhm.
Oh, mira, salió con su domingo 7. Mira, y
Yeah.
mira bien calladita, bien santita que era. Oh, yeah, I got all of those comments.
But if it's a
And
boy,
it's like,
yeah.
El pobre
yeah,
muchacho,
and it,
no, pobre muchacho, se lo amarraron. Pobre muchacho, lo engatusaron, right?
Yeah.
yes, yeah, and it's heartbreaking. It's like, I think we should bring the shame more to the guy, if anything, if you ask me, or to both equally. If you're gonna
Yeah.
shame them, shame
Yeah.
both of them. Um, I'm not saying that. I mean, it's such a sticky, tricky situation because I mean, in one side, yes, you want to embrace the culture of life and encourage the young couple to say yes to life, but you also don't want to keep encouraging that same behavior or praise that behavior. And there has to be a
Yeah.
fine line between that. And our families, a lot of families don't know that. Don't know that. They don't know how to separate both, especially in well, yeah, if we don't have these parenting skills, like I
Right,
say no because I love you. A
right.
lot of people are it's like, no, mi hija va a tener todo lo que yo no tuve. No, we have to set boundaries. And they're going to be
Right.
healthy and good and safe for our kids. Not because we want to deprive them or want them to be miserable or we don't want them and to enjoy their youth, but because we love them. Just
Right.
like our heavenly Father, he sets these 10 commandments, and we think like, oh my gosh, they're so strict or they're too much. Um, but he sets them there for because he loves us, because he wants the best for us, because he knows what we're capable of. So he has set those 10 boundaries or laws and rules so we can learn to live a holy life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that parents can do a better job raising their children, especially the boys. I don't know about you guys, but I think men can end abortion. If we educate our men, I think we can end abortion if we start with them.
Yeah. Start changing how we speak to, towards them, and or the way they are as a mom. Como dicen, mi hijo va a hacer lo que quiera, no los hacemos responsables. So we have to make them accountable and start speaking to them how a man should really be. Not that a man is free to do whatever he wants and not take the responsibility. So como, Latinos, if you want a good, strong man, then raise a good, strong man. not
Yeah.
to go out and see what other women they want just because he's a man.
Yeah. Agree 100%. Well, we came to the end of the podcast. That was really fast.
Oh yeah.
So until next time when we're going to talk about swingers. I guess. I don't know. Brandon's like, I don't want to talk about that.
I don't have stories about swingers, so
Well, I didn't
that's
even know
that'll
what that
be your.
was till not too long ago. I mean, I know now, but back in the days, we just thought they were like, I just knew about what do you call it, pimps, and I didn't know there was such thing as.
Oh, forget it. Now
Swing.
they were swingers.
I think now they're called handlers or something like that. They're handlers.
Swingers are people that go both ways. Apparently, they swing to either men or women, and yeah. Oh, the world today, forget it, Sonia. Right, Fran? Forget it. Like today, I mean, there's
now I know. I started like hearing all these stories since I joined and stuff with you guys or connecting with other people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Or when I worked at the domestic violence outreach center, that's where I found out a lot of that stuff too, and I'm like, oh, this is gross. Yeah.
We need to do a podcast about that domestic violence, Sonia. You're such an expert on that I really would like to write for her. She has so much experience on domestic violence. We really
I
need
have to invite my friend. I need to see if she's back from Brazil. She's the counselor that would work there.
Yeah. Tell her, ask her. All right, you guys. Well, you guys want to say something? I know we cannot see Sonia, but you can hear her. Anything, Sprane? Until next time.
Until next time, hope you join us. And if you can drop a comment and let us know what you like to hear as well, that's also helpful.
Or if you have anyone that wants to join us in our podcast, we welcome everyone in our podcast. So I hope you all can join us and we can talk about many of the topics that affect our Latino community. Anything from you, Sonia?
Yeah, let's keep educating our boys and our girls to respect themselves, and to boys to respect them and respect themselves as well.
Amen to that. Así que esto fue Latinas for Life, Feminine Truth. Gracias a todos and see you next time. Bye.
Bye. ¿Por qué no me